I would like to discuss just for a moment, touch on the subject of martial arts students and or practitioners that embark on a journey supposedly in the martial arts and they abuse their training for the sake of ego, bullying, uh, popularity, uh, in a negative way. In other words, they're not representing their instructors and the teaching and the honor associated with the martial arts. I've had this happen to me in my life. Now, mind you, I have been in the martial arts 2/3 of my life, so I know this very well. And not just from a personal standpoint, but also from observation from other instructors that I have known throughout the years. Having students that are, how would you say, uh, renegades is a term that they've used. These guys, and or even women in some respects, they learn martial arts and they go out and try to brag about knowing martial arts. They go out and they try to bully on people who are helpless, not able to take care of themselves physically, don't know how to defend themselves, in other words. And these individuals don't make the school from which they have come look good at all. Someone asked me to touch on this, and I am. And how do you deal with this situation? Well, first of all, once you can ascertain who that student or those students are that are going out abusing the training that you've given them, um, I would not give them any warnings because that's very much a part of who they are. It's their person. You see, one thing you never know, even though on the outside an individual comes to you and they have the appearance of being humble, showing humility, and being sincere about learning the martial arts, one thing that you never know is what's really going on inside that individual's mind, what their purpose and intent is, or what it could grow to be. Now, I have experienced people before that, for example, say, teach me karate or martial arts so I can go kick my husband's butt because he's done XYZ or he cheated on me or what have you. Or my boss's butt on the job, or this coworker on the job, or this kid at my school who keeps talking about me. I want to show them something. Those are not necessarily flags. It is just simply obvious that those are not the students that you are interested in taking on. So you cut them off right away. Don't try to fix something that can't be fixed. If they're coming to you with that mindset and or mentality, leave it alone. Now, for those other students or potential students that come to you knocking on your door wanting to learn martial arts, who come in a seemingly humble way, hi, teacher so and so, my name is so and so. I would like to become a student and learn martial arts. And then you ask them why. Those are the questions that we as instructors ask. Why do you want to learn martial arts? And they say for self-protection and self-development and confidence and so on and so forth. Okay, once you accept that individual, and mind you, it should never be for money, never for this. It should always be for honor and respect, courtesy, all of those positive attributes that go along with martial arts. You accept that individual so that you can help to form and fashion them, into a model and a decent human being. Okay, now, once they've been with you for a while, several months, a year, you're supposed to be observing them the whole period of time that they're there. Now, there are a lot of instructors, unfortunately, that don't pay attention to these little moments when a student gets upset and they want to lash out at another student because they got touched in a sparring session, or they got slightly injured or bruised or kicked in the belly or something like this, you know, you need to pay attention to your students, because they're not just a payday for you, and they should never be seen that way. Your students are reflections of you, and if you are any type of instructor, if you care anything about your reputation and your status as an instructor in your community, even in the world, just depend on how big you are or have grown to be, then you would nip it in the bud right from the outset when you see a student that is stepping off the straight and narrow path. So it's unfortunate we can't do a psychological evaluation on the students and find out what's really going on in their heads. Oftentimes it's over a period of time that we find out that we have a bad apple, maybe even a couple, and it's unfortunate, but it does happen, and it has happened. And once we realize that there are students that come from our lineage, so to speak, and they get out there in the world and they are committing acts of terror and beating up on folks, then we must do the appropriate thing. Oftentimes it can be a reduction in their rank, taking them off of your official roles. Just because you promoted them to black belt, you can take it away. Yes, they did receive it, but you can take them off of your list as being one of your accredited students. You can do that. That's within your power, well within your power as an instructor. You can warn other instructors in local schools about them and say, if this individual ever comes to your school, you don't accept them because they have done this dishonorable thing. They're not a good qualified candidate to learn martial arts. Now, another thing, let me show you this before I part. If there are some things that you hold dear to you, depending on what your system or martial arts style may be, such as pressure points as part of your system, be very careful who you share some of your deep, more secretive techniques to. In other words, when you have students in the beginning, give them the basics. Don't give them everything. Sometimes we just want to share everything that's in our head, everything that we've experienced as an instructor. We want to give it to all of our students, especially when we see great potential. But that should be a flag that goes up in your head as well. Don't be so anxious to share all of your information as it relates to martial arts techniques to your students. Teach them the basics, go to the intermediate and advanced in its proper order. Don't skip anything, because you might have a monster on your hand down the road, and you've shared some certain techniques that's usually given to those most dedicated students. You've given it to somebody who didn't even really care in the first place. All they want is those secrets, those special techniques that you, the instructor, has, so they can go out in their narcissistic mentality or behavior and wreak havoc on the hapless, on the unaware, on the helpless, which is not good. So I don't teach some of my most prized techniques to my students unless they are worthy. And I have observed them from day one throughout the whole time they've been with me, or any potential student for that matter. I don't just start sharing things. I want to share some things because I'm getting older and I don't want some things to die with me, but I would rather it die with me than to give it to someone who could potentially cause the death of someone else for no good reason at all. So I encourage you today, instructors, be vigilant. Make sure that you screen your potential students very well before you even accept them into your ranks. And it's never about money. It should never be about money. If it's ever about money, then you need to get another job outside of martial arts, because you'll never become wealthy just simply being an instructor. The most important gift that we're giving to our students is teaching them how to be a decent, loving, caring, respectful human being. This is Brother Teacher. Yahweh love you, and I love you. So long.